talk about The Last of Us. The um, it's called Last of Us Dark Side. It's a multiplayer that was canceled. I didn't know that it was called The Last of Us. It's Fraction 2, but it's really The Last of Us Dark Side. There's no DLC, no DLC expansive, nothing. It's just its own game. And it didn't come out. I know why it didn't come out. Like usually Naughty Dog release series like uh Uncharted and then Uncharted multiplayer along with it. I don't know why it's not coming out. Just like Division Heartlands was also separate its own way and it didn't come out. The Last of Us. It's a good series. I don't know why it didn't have a multiplayer. But a single player that is good. Uh, but multiplayer is also something to be a bigger map. And I think good players will probably play it on The Last of Us Dark Side, the multiplayer. Because I think there's a lot of Last of Us good players than some normal YouTuber that does The Last of Us multiplayer. There's like already good players in The Last of Us that probably will come back to play The Last of Us Dark Side. Uh, but it got canceled. But I think it will come, but I don't know when. Uh, and The Last of Us Part 2 is my favorite series. Alongside The Walking Dead, Telltale's games of The Walking Dead of Clementine, both series that I like. And even Resident Evil 6, Resident Evil 4 remake. And with this type of version of high graphics and storytelling, I really like this a lot. I like more a single player on The Last of Us Part 2 because it's like CGI. First time ever. I really like this game. It has like expanded map. I really hope if there's a way if The Last of Us could be CGI story, that'd be something. If they didn't have enough time to put story in, that was perhaps cut during the E3 trailer where it shows it was a little different. It will show like Ellie in the Firefly camp, and she was singing, and Joe finding her, and we don't know what will happen. Like there's parts that has been cut from some of the series. I don't like that. I didn't like that. Like I wanted The Last of Us to be its own thing and following others stuff. Like The Last of Us, Part One has the full version, and The Last of Us Part Two, what it shows like a map, it shows extending that would have been a longer game. I think it would have been a longer game because it shows Ellie dancing with others in the beginning of the story of The Last of Us Part Two trailer, and it got cut. But and then they show it now. They finally show that part of the where Ellie was dancing with others, and then she got upset with Joel, and then she left, and then they do their thing, and if The Last of Us have that expanded map, expanded CGI series. That'd be cool. I think there's still a chance this could do, but I don't think it won't. I played this series a lot. Then The Last of Us Part One, because there was like clickers and then monsters type of thing that I like. And plus, has Permanent Death Run. Um, it's a good series, you know. Joel will have like just a few cutscenes expanded so that not to be ending. Oh, I don't know what would have been for The Last of Us Part 2 if content wasn't removed. Oh, didn't interfere. What would have been for The Last of Us Part 2? What would have been if it was a lot different? Because in the E3 trailer, usually that was supposed to be the game for The Last of Us 1. The Last of Us 1, then Last of Us Part 2 got me close. Just like The Division. The Division 1 also was part of it. The Division 1, where it shows the beginning of the first wave agents that I came for. Well, it didn't turn out to be a single player. It turned out to be a multiplayer. But good thing they retelling the Division first wave in the mobile. That's good, man. At least we were first wave agents in mobile, not the second wave, because didn't make sense. But I understand the Dark Zone and and what happened. But anyway, the Division, no, the Last of Us. Ellie. I thought that was supposed to be the game. Ellie sitting there with her guitar singing the I run through the valley, counting on my chain. I hope will come blind to it all in my mind. Yeah, and then Joel comes in and find Ellie in this camp of the Fireflies and say that we'll get everyone. That was the thing that I wanted, you know, to expand it a longer story. But it was supposed to not be a longer story, but they did, you know, 10 hours. Characters, 10 hours. Would have been like longer if there wasn't no interfering or change the story of The Last of Us. Would have been look. That would be something, right? And thinking if it could be a animation, CGI animation, exclusive or something to see. Well, no. Last of Us Part 3, but like I said, The Last of Us Part 2 is very great. There's no like Ghost in the Shell, that's missing too. Ghost in the Shell, season 3. There's no like new Resident Evil Infinite Darkness season for streaming service. It's missing. I think Last of Us is the one that started it all, and I'm glad they. I never thought that like it would be on the streaming service. The Last of Us. That's good, you know, and The Walking Dead, Clementine, like Walking Dead. I hope there will be a live action Clementine because there's a live action like the anime that's starting to go now. Because the creators of the mangas of their own anime series is becoming live action. And just Resident Evil. Resident Evil hasn't done a live action that they did. Well, not like a proper live action Resident Evil 0 retelling and Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, 4. And The Last of Us. As The Last of Us Part 3 will come, a multiplayer will have been, you know, a survivor. There is like a survivor along alone DLC. It's like land standing or how long you could survive, like a permanent death thing. Tournament mode where you last how long you could last in the series, and you move on to the next part. It should be co-op also. That'd be something. Co-op with The Last of Us because you know you have a partner. That could be multiplayer. That could be a new speedrun thing because I see The Last of Us has a speedrun time and maybe a co-op speedrun. Won't affect the story single player. Maybe someday The Last of Us Part 2 get another release or remake. Maybe a co-op could be in it too, so that it could go faster and beat it quicker. I don't think that. No, by someday